coming back for his church. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 24, verse 42, "Watch therefore, for you do not know the hour your Lord is coming." I want you to know, church, that Jesus Christ could come this month, or he might come next week, or he could even come...
Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Prime Minister and Likud Chairman Benjamin Netanyahu will advance with a final effort this week, together with his centrist political rival Blue and White Chairman Benny Gantz, to try and bridge the gaps in negotiations to establish a national unity government. The Israeli security services Shin Bet, in a joint operation with IDF and police forces, apprehended a Palestinian militant cell that is responsible for committing the heinous terror attack near the West Bank settlement of Dolev last month, in which Israeli teenager Rina Shnerb was killed and her brother and father were critically injured. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman warned of a looming threat of escalation with the Islamic Republic of Iran if the latter would not cease its aggressive actions against the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Prime Minister and Likud Chairman Benjamin Netanyahu will advance with a final effort this week, together with his centrist political rival Blue and White Chairman Benny Gantz, to try and bridge the gaps in negotiations to establish a national unity government. In a recorded Jewish New Year's greeting that was posted on Netanyahu's Facebook page, he explained his decision to concede to the proposition of unity after the inconclusive ballot on the 17th of September. Both this unprecedented second election and the previous April 9th round have created a political deadlock which has left the incumbent prime minister unable to form a required simple majority coalition of 61 members of parliament.
שנה טובה לכם, אזרחים יקרים, שנה של שגשוג, של ביטחון, שנה של שלום, לפחות שלום פנימי. ולמען מטרת השלום הפנימי, הנשיא ריבלין הציע הצעה שהיא כל כך חכמה. הוא אמר דבר פשוט, כיוון שלא אתה, ראש הממשלה נתניהו, ולא אתה, חבר הכנסת גנץ, אף אחד מכם לא יכול להקים ממשלה בכוחות עצמו, תקימו ממשלה משותפת, ממשלת אחדות רחבה. והוא הציע שני עקרונות לממשלת האחדות. קודם כל רוטציה בתפקיד ראש הממשלה, אני ואחר כך בני גנץ, ושנית ממשלה שוויונית. כלומר, לא משנה כמה חברי כנסת אנחנו נביא מהימין, כל ה-55, ולא משנה כמה יביא בני גנץ משמאל, המספר השרים בתוך הממשלה יהיה שווה, כך שלאף אחד לא יהיה יתרון. שני עקרונות פשוטים. זה קשה, אני התלבטתי, אבל ויתרתי ואמרתי, אנחנו מוכנים ללכת לזה.
Netanyahu claimed that after 3 rounds of negotiations between the representatives of Likud and Blue and White, Gantz's new party refused to accept the 2 principles that were proposed by President Reuven Rivlin. This refusal to cede to the president's proposition led to an unnecessary deadlock that may ultimately force on Israel a 3rd round of elections in less than 1 year. To avoid such a scenario, Netanyahu explained that he reached out to Gantz, who agreed to make a final effort to achieve an agreement.
בסוף סיכמנו שהצוותים ייפגשו פעם נוספת ביום רביעי בבוקר, ואנחנו ניפגש כנראה ביום רביעי אחר הצהריים, לפנות ערב, ונעשה את הניסיון האחרון, ואני אגיד לכם, אזרחי ישראל, אין פתרון אחר. עכשיו, או שנעשה אותו עכשיו, או שנעשה אותו בסוף. אחרי שאני אחזיר את המנדט, ואחרי שבני יחזיר את המנדט, בסוף יישארו 21 יום, נגיע לזה, רק לזה, אין אלטרנטיבה אחרת. מוטב מוקדם מאשר מאוחר.
The Blue and White Party re-emphasized in a statement that it would spare no effort to form a broad liberal unity government. That said, it is important to explain that the main hurdle pertains to the question of who will serve as the first prime minister in a possible rotation government. While Benjamin Netanyahu demands to assume the position for the first 2 out of the 4-year term, a looming indictment on corruption allegations makes acceptance of the bid by his political opponent, former IDF Chief of Staff Benny Gantz, unlikely. The Blue and White chairman remains adamant that he will abide by his party's pre-election promise not to serve in a government under a prime minister facing criminal charges. Meanwhile, Israeli Attorney General Avichai Mendelblit is due to hold a series of pre-trial hearings this week and next regarding his intention to indict Netanyahu. The charges include fraud and bribery in 3 separate cases of corruption. Netanyahu, who strongly maintains that he is a victim of a political witch hunt, will be granted the opportunity to defend himself and will argue against prosecution that will force him to relinquish his post as prime minister. Now, in other news, 4 Palestinian militants suspected of committing the heinous terror attack near the West Bank settlement of Dolev last month have been captured in a joint operation by the Israeli Shin Bet security service together with IDF and Israeli police forces. 17-year-old Israeli teenager Rina Shnerb was killed, and her 19-year-old brother Dvir and father Eitan were critically injured in the terrorist bombing. All of the Palestinian cell members belong to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, who reportedly plan to carry out additional imminent terror attacks, including shooting attacks and kidnappings. So-called aggressive methods of interrogation has been applied for the purpose of extracting vital information to prevent additional acts of terror against Israeli civilians and soldiers. Shin Bet officials insisted that all of the interrogations have been conducted under the guidance of legal counsel. They further underscored that the methods applied proved successful, while one of the cell members directed the Shin Bet to a location where an explosive device was uncovered, similar to the bomb used against the Shnerb family. Following the course of that interrogation, the commander of the terror cell was reportedly taken to the Hadassah Medical Center in Jerusalem in critical condition. The Shin Bet released a statement in response saying, during the questioning of the leader of the terrorist cell that committed the bombing attack in the natural spring of En Dani that killed Rina Shnerb, he reported he felt unwell. In accordance with regulations, he was sent to a hospital for medical examinations and treatment. The questioning of the terrorist cell is still underway, and it is not permitted to reveal any further information. It is important to note that the cell commander has been identified as 44-year-old Samir Mina Salmin Arbid. He is a resident of the West Bank city of Ramallah and one of the Popular Front's highest-ranking figures in the area. Arbid was a wanted fugitive for years for his role as a bomb expert who helped facilitate multiple attacks against Israelis during the Second Intifada, a violent period that claimed the lives of more than 1,000 Israelis and numerous terrorist acts. Now to Saudi Arabia, where Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman warned of a looming threat of escalation with Iran if the Islamic Republic does not cease its aggressive actions against the kingdom. In an interview with the CBS 60 Minutes program, Prince bin Salman also insisted that if the world does not take a strong and firm action to deter Iran, the situation may deteriorate to a point in which oil prices will jump to unimaginably high numbers never before seen in our lifetime.
Secretary Mike Pompeo has called what Iran did, in his words, an act of war. Was it an act of war?
Of course, yes. If the world does not take a strong and firm action to deter Iran, we will see further escalations that will threaten world interests. Oil supplies will be disrupted, and oil prices will jump to unimaginably high numbers that we haven't seen in our lifetimes.
What's the solution?
First, if Iran stops its support of the Houthi militia, the political solution will be much easier. Today we open all initiatives for a political solution in Yemen. We hope this happens today rather than tomorrow.
The Saudi Crown Prince, who is the kingdom's de facto ruler, insisted, however, that despite Tehran's aggressive policies, Riyadh would prefer a political solution rather than